Yo, 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 testing 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, test. Let's see if that worked. Yo, 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 testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, that seemed to have worked. Wow! Look at me, guys. It's your boy. And he's all alone. That's right. Today, I'll be doing a live stream all by myself. Peter had some prior obligations, so fuck it. We don't need that guy. Okay, we don't need that guy. That guy is unintelligent, plays Destiny, and stuff like that. But if this is your first time on stream or watch the VOD, hey everyone, I'm Jack. Usually I have my co-host Peter, but he's busy today, so I was like, what, we're not gonna stream? Yeah, we're gonna stream. It's just gonna be your boy this time talking to the void. And I hope also to make this into a separate video on the channel. But that's not the main objective. That's not the main objective of this. No. It is. But anyways, fuck it. We'll do this live. Fuck it. We're doing it live. Bill O'Reilly. We're going to talk about Alien. I am a gigantic, humongous Alien fan. I love Alien. It's one of my favorite franchises, even though there's only like 2 good movies, and we're going to get into that. I'm so much of a fan. I got the amazing, this is like sold out almost everywhere, the Alien Anthology Blu-ray. These are like the best Blu-ray of the Alien franchise ever. They come with like a multi-viewer thing where like in the middle of the movie, it'll show a little symbol. You can click on it and then it tells you background on that scene. So like what turns into like a 2-hour movie turns into a 4-hour movie because you're just clicking on, oh, what's this about this? And then it cuts to like a behind the scenes video and stuff like that. We got AVP, okay. And we got Prometheus and Covenant, these were actually filmed in Ridley Scott's retirement home. No, I'm kidding. Ridley Scott's a great filmmaker. Just for context, my favorite movie of all time. I mean, I won't place it now, but you'll know. It's one of the Alien movies. It's my favorite of all time. No other movie has topped it, in my opinion. And yeah, that's a personal opinion, but doesn't make it any less true. I also am a fan of the comics. I think this one's the only physical one I have. This one's actually out of print because good old the mouse Disney fucking bought out 21st Century Fox, so he stopped selling these. So this is another out of print thing. The comics and the novels are good. There's hits and misses. Every once in a while, like there's one comic where I think it's a scientist or I forget who, but like they transfer their brain waves into a xenomorph. So there's a xenomorph like smoking a cigar, wearing a suit and tie, and like using a Tommy gun. Like Alien comics go fucking crazy sometimes, but other times they're really good, and so are the novels. Out of the Shadows, I would recommend. Cold Forge is pretty good. And a lot of others. It's actually a novelization. There's a novelization of all the books, I believe, which are pretty good. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this franchise. So, if you know anything about the Alien franchise, you probably know which 2 are the best. So we're going to leave those for last, and we are going to leave the latest film at the very last, so you guys know my opinion. I will be doing spoiler-free, and then after a time, I'll say spoiler time, and I'll talk about the movie. But without further ado, how do we want to organize this here? I guess we'll go Alien 3. We'll go Resurrections, right? Yeah. And we'll go AVP. We'll do release order besides these 3. Requiem, Prometheus, Covenant. I think that's right. This is a video game, but it was on the list already, and I also want to talk about Alien Isolation. So if you don't know anything about the Alien franchise, you definitely know the iconography, right? You know the chest burster scene where there's a thing that pops out of someone's chest? That comes from Alien. And that little creature is called a xenomorph. And goddamn do I love xenomorphs. Created by H.R. Geiger. I believe he's a German artist, or was. He passed away a while ago. And he created the xenomorph. And then basically the original Alien, it was like a B-list horror script, but then Ridley Scott took it to the next level and like really expanded on it and made it like the perfect film, basically. But yeah, also mind the greasy hair. It's been a fucking rough couple of days. But you know, I was like, fuck it, let me just get on a live stream. Who cares? You know, who cares? Nobody. Anyways. Alright, so Alien 3. And I've watched all of these recently. I've watched every single one recently. Because I was going to do a Romulus review. And I said something that I thought... I don't even know why I'm wearing the headphones. I said something that I thought I agreed with for a while. But I realized I haven't seen Alien 3 in a while. And in this review, I said, oh, Alien 3 is better than Alien Romulus. I went back and watched 3. Listen, even with the assembly cut, 3 is very... By the way, spoilers for the rest of the films. Romulus, I'll do spoiler free and then do spoilers. But Alien 3, man. Directed by David Lynch, another great actor. I don't know why he texted me that. Okay. What was I saying? David Fitch, an excellent director, directed Seven, House of Cards for a little bit, and then also what else did he direct? I think Fight Club. Didn't he direct Fight Club? I don't remember. But he's done good movies. This was his first theatrical movie, and 21st Century Fox did not were such control freaks. It's amazing this film was even made. Yeah, this just has a lot of things going up against it. You know, and I don't have the complaint that everyone else has, where it's like, oh my god, they killed Newton, Hickson, Bishop. This movie's awful right off the bat. And I'm like, not necessarily. You know, if you kill off those characters, you better have a damn good reason to, basically. Like, I don't have a problem with the concept of that. My problem comes in with how their deaths happen, and Ripley, she's emotional at first, but then kind of just, I don't know, carries on. Like, even with Bishop, she reactivates Bishop, and Bishop's like, kill me, and then she does it, and then it's not really a ceremonious moment, and it's like, well, that seems a little strange, because Aliens was such a big impact, and Ripley just feels really off in this movie. The dialogue is not great either. This movie is famous for having a bunch of like at the time, I think it was the most times people said fuck in a script at the time, but then that got beaten out. But like, yeah, it's just like the scripting's not there. I get what it's trying to do. It's like, oh, what if we do Alien but in a prison? But then it's just very odd and weird. Like, the pacing is just completely off. Like, Ripley meets this one guy and then just like sleeps with him like after 2 days of knowing him, and it's very strange. And you don't, the main thing is that most of the Alien products after Alien and Aliens is you don't really care about the side characters. In those two movies, you care about those side characters and they're actually impactful. You don't want to see them die. Whereas this one, I'm like, oh, that person's dead. Oh, there goes another one. You know what I mean? And Ripley's sacrifice at the end does make sense, and I think that was Sigourney's way of saying, like, I don't want to be part of this franchise anymore, and then she gets roped into Resurrections, but we'll get to that one. But yeah, Alien 3 was just not a fun watch. I mean, you should absolutely watch it if you're going to watch all these movies. I like the aesthetics of it. I like the acting's good, all things considered. The dialogue is just a little cringe. Again, the environments are great. It's just really badly pasted and fucking the fucking xenomorph effects here. So basically, what they did is they did a puppet xenomorph and green screened it. That sounds all good, right? Well, this was like early mid 90s like special effects, so you could see the green hue of the green screen on the creature, and whenever it's moving around, it's the most unnatural thing. And not unnatural and like, oh, this is scary, uncanny. Like unnatural, it's like that's obviously a special effect, and it's very noticeable throughout the entire film. And it's just, it kind of takes you out of it. You almost kind of prefer it to be a man in a suit, which a lot of the or Alien and Aliens was a guy in a suit, and it looked perfectly fine, perfectly believable. Obviously, some puppetry and animatronics in Aliens and shit like that, but like for the most part, that worked a lot better than whatever they tried to do. And the assembly cut does fix some of the visual effects and the color grading, adds a couple scenes, but overall, even with all that, it's still not great. I wouldn't say it's the worst. I wouldn't say it's D. Actually, you know, let's add a row below. Let's make it, or whoops, I think I have to, yeah. I'll just make sure purple. Let's do, you motherfucker. Let's make it F tier. Okay. I would say C. I think it's going to stay in C, high C, throughout this list. But then we get into Resurrections. This shit is garbage. This shit is really bad. The basic plot of it is so at the end of Alien 3, Ripley was impregnated by a queen alien. So she sacrifices herself, kills herself, basically, so the Wayland Company doesn't get that queen xenomorph, so they can birth a bunch of xenomorphs. So she sacrifices herself, but they got DNA from her blood from all that and cloned her with the queen alien inside. And they were like, all right, we got the queen alien. What should we do with her? And the mad scientist or whatever is like, fuck it. Let's keep her. Why? Not only that, but like the clone version of her has enhanced xenomorph abilities. So her blood is made of acid and shit like that. It's just a really, really bad action movie. But fucking hilarious. This is one of the so bad it's good movies. This is one of the like, oh my god, like I can't believe what I'm watching right now. There's so many scenes. What do I even choose from? There's the basketball scene where Sigourney Weaver's shooting some mad hoop. Oh my god, it's like on the level of like the Catwoman, the movie where I believe it's Catwoman. Yeah, where she's like tripling and shit. It's the most cringy shit. Ron Perlman's in this, and I love him in it, but like it's so bad. In fact, in Connecticut we had like a big flooding and stuff like that, and I was just chilling, drinking, watching Alien Resurrections, and I had the time of my fucking life. I was just laughing to myself downstairs, and my girlfriend was reading upstairs because I was being too loud for her to read next to me, because like I was just laughing hysterically throughout this movie, because it is a good time. It's a bad movie. Obviously, there's the human xenomorph thing that is an abomination and one of the worst things to look at. Not meaning scary wise, just like creature design wise in general. It's just dumb. It's stupid. Sigourney Weaver's so weird in this, like so pseudo-sexual and stuff. I think so the concept of the xenomorph is inherently sexual. It's like a mixture of a vagina and a penis, essentially. That's what makes it so horrifying, is because sexually it's so disturbingly looking. And that was the intent of the original design of H.R. Geiger, is for the head to look like a penis, and all that shit, and for the eggs to look like vaginas when they hatch. Like, that's the point. And like the little tongue in the face huggers and stuff, like forcing it down its mouth. I mean, come on. Like the metaphor's obvious here. And this movie just takes that into a really weird way. Like, one of the scientists is weirdly like in love with one of the xenomorphs, I guess. There's a scene where they have this protection scene between the scientists and the xenomorphs. And the scientist is just like, he literally goes like this. He goes, He goes in for a kiss, a Riz fueled kiss, and the xenomorph rejects him. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing, pal? And like, so many of Sigourney's wives are just wives. So many of Sigourney's lines are just like sexual innuendos. It's just very odd and off-putting. This movie's not good. It's not good at all. I would watch it with a group of friends or drunk. Then you'll have a fucking blast. Otherwise, though, stay fucking clear of this movie. All right, then we got Alien vs. Predator. The other Predator movies are not on this one, just AVPs, because we're covering we're covering predominantly Alien. But maybe when I rewatch all the Predators, I'll add the Predators, and maybe I'll add all of them together. But this movie is like not good. The human characters suck. It's on Earth, which is like the worst fucking decision to make in a xenomorph / alien project, is to have the xenomorphs on Earth. It's just a dumb idea, because aliens work better in a confined area. When you unleash them on Earth, then it becomes incredibly stupid almost immediately. That's why I'm kind of nervous about Alien Earth, the new FX TV show, which, by the way, did you guys know that the Alien TV show takes place before Xenomorphs? But that doesn't make any sense, because according to Prometheus, and especially explicitly Alien Covenant, David created the Xenomorphs. So at this point, they should just come out and just say the Ridley Scott prequels are not canon. I would be fine with it. We're going to get into my opinions of those films in a little bit. But, like, yeah. Anyways, Alien vs. Predator. It's an underground Mayan temple where I think the Predators, I don't even remember the plot of this movie because it's so stupid and dumb. I mean, there are and I hate Twitter. I hate Twitter so much because they take one aspect of bad films. Like Twitter, if you were to ask Twitter, The Amazing Spider-Man is like, oh, a decent movie. The Amazing Spider-Man is not a good movie. It just has a couple good parts in an overall pile of shit. And that's essentially what Alien versus Predator is. It's like, oh, the Alien versus Predator stuff is actually cool, and when they fight up against each other, it's really awesome. But then you get to the rest of the movie, and it's fucking stupid. Like the fucking alien queen chasing after everyone. It's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb, and it takes aspects of the first Alien versus Predator comic book, but then like shits all over that. It's not great. The only reason why I put it in D instead of F is because, one, there is a worse one we're gonna get into, and two, there's a couple fun action scenes in there. I'm not gonna lie. The iconography of a face hugger jumping onto someone's face, you can't really screw that up, and this movie doesn't screw that up. The xenomorphs are cool looking, predators are cool looking, and that's all that really needs to be done for like to get at least a D level, which this does. And then we get into Requiem. This is fucking god awful shit, not only on a storytelling standpoint, but also of a filmmaking standpoint. Half the film you can't even fucking see because of the lighting. Like there's a point where at the end of the first Alien vs. Predator, a xenomorph pops out of a predator's chest, and then that births a Predator xenomorph. I know the Predators have names. I'm not the Hifari or whatever the hell. I'm not gonna fucking pronounce that. So that creature's off the loose, and it's fighting, I believe it's a predator at the end of the film, and you can't even fucking see it because it's so dark. You can't see it might as well just look like an average xenomorph. Like the whole point is we want to see what this amalgamation looks like. We can't even see the fucking thing. There is one cool kill in this. It's pretty much a slasher film, right? Like a Freddy versus Jason deal. Like, essentially, the Predator and Alien are slasher villains, and they're just killing off teenagers. There's one cool kill with the Predator disc blade, where he throws it at a lady. She sticks to the wall and is cut in half. Like, all right, you got me there, movie. That was kind of cool. The acting's terrible. The aliens and predators are very mean, and that's fine, but the rest of the movie is also very mean spirited. And a lot of these films are, in a way, mean spirited. For the most part, they're not edgy, and this one bleeds into the realm of very edgy. And it's not good. Again, would recommend with a couple of drinks and a couple of friends. But if you're watching this by yourself sober, good fucking luck, buddy. Like, this movie is ass. It's so bad. Then we have, all right, we're jumping into Prometheus. Okay. So at first, when I first saw this, I didn't like it, because obviously prequel to Alien, but in its own universe. Even with that, I was still like, what the fuck? Like, upon other viewings, I've seen this movie like 5 times. I'm still not a fan of it. It is well shot. It is well lit. The production design. This is the final season of Game of Thrones. What I mean by that is everything surrounding the writing is really top-notch and good stuff. But the writing is not great. Like, there's a scene. It's an infamous scene. Where this spaceship, or whatever you want to call it, where the space jockeys are from. Or the Prometheans. It's on... It's like this way, right? It's like a wheel. So it's spinning. Our main character is running forward the entire time on this open plain field. She could go right. She could go... Well, I guess from your point of view, this is right, or I don't know. But she either go right or left. She doesn't do either. She just runs straight forward until the thing completely collapses. She could have easily gone that way. There's also scientists that go in and stick their faces in this proto facehugger like not scorpion, like cobra snake looking thing. Like, hi, little guy, and it attaches itself on his face. Those are scientists. Now you may be asking, hey, Jack, an alien, a person does that too. The difference is that person that did that was a blue collar worker in the alien universe. So no wonder he's just gonna be like, what? If anyone were to know better once they discover a species, if anyone were to know better, they have no idea what this species is about. The scientist would not stick its fucking face in that. And it's just those little writing decisions. Obviously, this is showcasing Ridley being more interested in the android side of things. And then we get the prototype xenomorph at the end, which was like... I like the design of it, but it was a weird, like, just kind of thrown in thing at the very end. Like, oh, it is connected. And it's like... Okay, man. So, I think... If I were mean, I'd put it in, like, C or D. I think I'm going to put it in B. Because everything surrounding, besides the writing and the actual story itself, is spectacular. The visual effects, the acting, the scene where the lady's trying to take the parasite out of her, and so she's cutting her stuff. Like, that scene, fantastic, awesome, well done. Everything around the writing is not good at all. And I would say the same thing about Covenant. I really want to put this in F tier. I really, really do. I absolutely want to put Covenant in F tier because it does the worst sin. Xenomorphs, aliens. What makes them terrifying, especially in the first Alien and the other couple aliens, is you never know where they came from, what they're about. That's what makes them scary. It's like giving Joker a backstory, you know, and not like an Elseworld, like the Tom Phillips, right? The Joaquin Phoenix Joker movies, because that's outside of continuity. That's not the real Joker kind of thing. What makes the Joker terrifying is you don't know his origins. He's always, if I had to choose an origin, it'd be multiple choice. That's Joker, right? With Xenomorphs, all we know is that they come from eggs, they come from a queen, and they don't eat, they don't sleep, they just kill. And we don't know where they come from, you know? We don't know how they were created. And guess what Covenant does? It says, hey, my name's Ridley Scott. You know that android David? Yeah, he perfected the xenomorph we know today. Once that happened in the movie, I was just devastatingly angry. And so fucking mad beyond belief. You do not explain the origin of the xenomorph. It makes it inherently less scary, because then if it's in continuity, which I don't know if Disney thinks it is or isn't. I mean, we'll get into the continuity of things, but like then, in the first Alien, that thing was designed by technically the Prometheans, but perfected by David. No, fuck that. That's why Prometheus and fucking Alien Covenant don't. Yeah, I fucking. God damn. I fucking do not like these movies. Again, everything production-wise and shit surrounding it is really good. The symbolism, the stuff with David, with the, like, what his identity is and stuff, that's all interesting if you like David. I think David's a fine enough character. But to take the xenomorph and explain its origin is just inherently terrible. And I think the C tier is perfect for mid and perfect for this case scenario, because everything surrounding this, everything except the story is done very, very well. Except for the actual story and the pacing. Alien Covenant, it has a couple cool scenes, like the chest burster popping out of the back of someone. That was pretty cool. Chest burster shooting out of someone's mouth. That was pretty cool. But everything else surrounding it, I absolutely have a huge problem with. Also, the CGI xenomorphs do not look great in daylight. The xenomorphs should always pretty much be kept in the dark. That's where they look the best. And the CGI in here, I mean, it's good. It's good. It just looks, it looks weird seeing a xenomorph in the daylight kind of thing. And yeah. All right. So we've been negative Nancy's so far. Now let's be positive Polly's here. Okay. What the fuck? All right. I'm going to start. Oh, I love Alien Isolation. I love Alien Isolation. This game is terrifying. And the crew that created this game did an absolutely banger job. It has one of the smartest AIs, even still today, after 2014. It still has one of the smartest AI enemies in any video game. It captures the first Alien movie. It captures that mood and aesthetics throughout. It looks like literally you're part of Ridley Scott's Alien. This game came shortly after Colonial Marines, which was an awful video game, which was like Call of Duty but with xenomorphs. Alien Isolation brings the fear back into xenomorphs. It is truly very, very good. A masterpiece. Honestly, there's probably the only A tier that's going to be in here. It is a masterpiece. It's really good. S tier is for perfect, and we'll get into those. 2. I wonder where those could be. Alien Isolation does a great job. The story, listen, I hate the whole, let's just for the sequel take the character's daughter and now it's their kid, so they're basically the same character. The character in Isolation, Amanda Ripley, is very much her own character. Also, this game has a DLC where you can play the last half of the first Alien movie as any one of the crew members. That shit is awesome. Alien Isolation respects the source material. It's fantastic. And then the end where it's like 2 xenomorphs. Awesome. One of the greatest horror games of all time, you know. Yeah, I love Alien Isolation so much. You know, it's a pacing of a game, so it tends to drag a little longer, which is why I want to put it in perfect. But other than that, when that xenomorph first appears up until the very end, it's such a good game. It's fantastic. Now we get into, listen, you're either Alien fan or you're an Aliens fan. I like Alien because it's a horror movie in space, and the xenomorph, there's one xenomorph, and it fucks that whole ship up. It just completely goes through motherfuckers. So I'm going to talk about these movies at the same time, but I would put Alien in front of Aliens. That's a personal preference. If someone were to say, I think Aliens is better, I wouldn't fight with you because they're both really, really great movies. Fantastic. I just like Ridley Scott's approach better. My favorite film of all time, like I've said in the beginning of the stream, Alien is just so good. And then we have Aliens, which is fantastic because it's like, if you thought one xenomorph was bad, guess what a whole bunch of them look like. And this film still holds up today. The effects look great. The acting's fantastic. You care about every single one of those colonial marines. It's basically, as James Cameron has, the director of the movie, has described it, it's like Vietnam in space. And yeah, this movie was so good that Sigourney Weaver didn't want to do a sequel to Alien, but she was like, nah, this shit kind of dope. I'm in. So yeah, and Hicks and Newt are such memorable characters. This one really, like, it's a lot more, like, where Alien is subtle, Aliens is not so subtle. Because Aliens are just like, the Wayland Corp company is a piece of shit. Corporation is garbage. They don't care about you. And, you know, they say that out loud. Whereas, like, Alien is just like, it builds up to that. It's like crew expendable. And it's like, oh, fuck. Like, once that moment is revealed in the first Alien by Mother, like, Sigourney's like, oh my fucking God. Like, they don't give a fuck. But yeah, Aliens, absolutely fantastic. It's one of the greatest action movies of all time. One of the greatest sequels of all time. In fact, I don't know if this is true, but apparently behind the scenes, Cameron was pitching a sequel to Alien, and they're like, all right, what do you got? So he writes the word Alien. They're like, okay. He writes S behind it. They're like, oh, and then he puts like a dollar sign through the S. And it's just like, oh, and yeah, it made a shit ton of money. There was a lot of merchandise for it. Whereas the first Alien, there wasn't a ton of merchandise for it because, you know, it was a it was a Lovecraftian horror. It's kind of hard to make merchandise off that. Whereas Aliens, it's like, oh, look, it's the colonial marines and shit like that. And Aliens really set, like, for future films and stuff, like the tone of what the xenomorphs would act like, besides isolation, and we'll get into Romulus, that like xenomorphs are just things to kind of shoot at kind of thing, which is why for me I like the first Alien more, because it makes the xenomorph more threatening. Whereas Aliens, there still is a threat. If you shoot aliens, then they'll bleed acid blood, but most of the time they're just mowing them down left and right. You know, they're killing them within like 5 seconds, whereas like in Alien it took like the entire film to kill that fucking xenomorph. But yeah, so that's Alien. I don't know what else to really say about Alien. It's perfectly paced. You care about every single one of the crew members. Ripley is such, like, Ripley isn't the obvious main character in that first movie. It actually takes a while once people start dying off to her to become the main lead and stuff like that, and to really take charge of stuff. Ian Holmes' performance as Ash, the android, is absolutely fantastic. He, you know, You Have My Sympathies. That's a great one. And I admire its purity. It's the perfect organism. Like, Ian Holmes' performance is fan-fucking-tastic in that. The set design is amazing. The sound design, one of the best sound design of any movie. Just how all the mechanics work. Like that opening shot where you're in space and then you're into the Nostromo. That's the spaceship they're on. And just like the beeps, boops of all the buttons and stuff. And even them landing on LV-426. I mean, everything is just done with prestige and perfection. That's why it's my favorite movie of all time. I could watch it over and over again. The director's cut is just as good. And honestly, like, Ridley is truly a master at filmmaking. I may have my criticisms with him now. I mean, I got 2 of his films down here, but he is a fantastic director. And yeah. Anyways, enough gushing. Let's talk spoiler free of Alien Romulus. I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna say my overall thoughts. My overall thoughts are, it's the equivalent of, I would say, the Force Awakens for the Alien franchise, and not in a bad way, and more playing it safe. Say what you will about all of these films, they have a unique director or writer's vision attached to them. You know, David Fincher's Alien 3 has a unique vision. Prometheus and Covenant, as much as I don't like them, have a unique perspective. These things are corporate slop. Bleh. Ridley Scott's Alien and James Cameron Aliens, both very different from each other. Each one of these films are very different from each other, which is why I like watching these movies, because it's not like watching 9 MCU films. If you watch 9 MCU films in a row, you're going to start being like, all right, these are all kind of samey. With the Alien franchise, you don't get that. Every single one of them is somewhat different and adds a completely different spin. Whereas Alien Isolation is a loving homage. Alien Romulus is a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of fan service. Sometimes fan service, when taken to a certain level, leaves some people empty. I will say, there are a couple decisions in this film, which I'll get into in a couple minutes, that I absolutely hate. Took me out of the movie, and I was just like, God damn. Originally I was going to do a review on my personal channel. That's Jack Hudson. Check it down below. But I was like, you know what? I need to step back a month or two, relook at this film, and really write a script down of why I absolutely... I can't do a first initial... This is my first initial reaction on camera, because I really do care about the franchise, and I want to, construct it. But now that we're doing a tier list, I mean, fuck it. But, that Alien Romulus review will come out within months and months after the fact. The acting's good. Production value's good. Sound design is really good as well. Listen, I'm going to shit talk it once we get into spoilers. But if you want the spoiler-free version, here it is. It's about a 6 out of 10 film. It's pretty average, a little below average. It's a good sequel to the original Alien. It doesn't offend anything. Well, we'll get into it. But, if you're a casual fan, you're not like a diehard fan like me, or a diehard Alien fan, then I think you're going to enjoy this. If you're a general viewer, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to like it. You're going to see no problems with it. All my problems stem from my absolute love of these films, and especially Alien. We'll get into that. So, that's the spoiler-free. That's the ranking. If that's what you care about, there it is. Now we're going to get into the spoiler section of Alien Romulus. And, yeah. Okay, so this is like a covenant for me, right? There's one decision in this film that I absolutely fucking hate and wish I could put in an F tier, but I have to acknowledge that everything besides that one decision is good. Bringing back Ian Holmes as a CGI monstrosity is offensive. And I'll tell you why. Because when I saw that in the film, I immediately rolled my eyes. And it doesn't even look like great deep faking. It looks like one of those AI filters where it's like, put Brad Pitt's face on your face using AI. It looks that level of bad. Like a freeware app shit. Also, just because it's the same model doesn't mean you could have gotten a look-alike instead of taking up a dead corpse of an actor. And Alien is owned by Disney. They did that shit with Carrie Fisher, so ain't gonna stop now. You're like, oh, it's the same model but completely different character. Just make it a look-alike, or just make it a completely different person. androids in the Alien universe don't all look the same, so that logic doesn't even make any sense. But who knows with Disney's new canon, if there even is a new canon. They're playing fast and loose with the Alien franchise with canon wise, because they do mention the Prometheus black goo in this. They do mention that. I was like, so this is canon, but how does the Alien TV show fit into this? If Prometheus is canon and the xenomorphs didn't exist before then, I don't think the movie makers or showrunners care. Honestly, they're just playing fast and loose with the canon. They don't give a fuck, which fine, you know. Alien kind of works better when it's just do whatever you want with it sometimes. But bringing up Ian Holmes' corpse on screen is just insulting, and the fact it's not even Ash. I think his name is called like what's his name? I don't even fucking remember. Yeah, it's awful, and I hated it. I also hated the beginning. They're like, we found a xenomorph off the Nostromo, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. The xenomorph from all the films and all the comics and books don't need oxygen, don't need to sleep and all. But Ripley shot that thing out of space. The vast space that we all know. How the fuck did they find that xenomorph? The xenomorph didn't have a tracking device on it. It had fucking nothing on it. How the fuck did they find the xenomorph from the very first Alien? They even show, they're like, and then we found the alien. And you see it crash, or like on like a crash site inside the ship, and it's got the little grappling hook arrows sticking out of its back. And I was like, are we fucking serious right now? Is that the alien from Alien that's canon? That's so dumb. The ending of Alien was perfect. It's like you shot out into space, you never know where it was gonna land. It probably is just gonna drift through space forever. But Alien Romulus list goes, nope, fuck that, we found it, did experiments. Like, god damn. God, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Forgivably, it doesn't be like, and the origins of what we found, thank god I didn't do any of that. With the black goo, that shit was okay, that's fine, I can forgive that. The Ian Holmes thing really just, ugh. And there were a bunch of other references. Okay, so like, I know this is super nitpicky, but again, I am a huge Alien fan. In Aliens, it's kind of about motherhood because Ripley, aged out. Like she was, after the end of Alien, it's been 57 years. Her daughter's now like 80 something. And, Ripley never was able to become a mother. Then she meets Newt, and she becomes a motherly figure. The Queen Alien, the Queen Xenomorph, is a mother in its own way, birthing out those facehugger eggs, right? So when the line where the Queen Alien is going after Newt, and fucking Ripley gets on that loader thing, right? The big robot thing, and he goes, "Get away from her, you bitch." That line has meaning to it. It's meaningful for the character because the whole movie is about motherhood. When the fucking android guy, Andy, I think, from Romulus, shoots the alien down and goes, "Get away from her, you bitch." It's there to be like, you remember this? You remember this line? Yes, I remember that line from the significantly better fucking movie that you paid reference to. Yes, I remember that fucking line. Like, it just pisses me off to no end. Okay, so let's get into some positives. Acting's good. Some of the characters, are just cannon fodder. They're just there to die. I do like that planet's world. When they're on the planet, how it's just like a complete shithole. I absolutely love that aspect of it. And all that stuff. I love the production design. It literally, like, the guy who directed this was like, oh, I took a lot of notes from not only the original Alien, but also Isolation. There's actually some checkpoints from that video game in this movie, which was kind of cool. The xenomorphs themselves are practical. somewhat CGI, but the CGI xenomorphs are in shadows, so you can't tell how fucking shitty they look, which is good. I mean, they don't look shitty, but it hides, I guess, in the CGI world, or in the CGI industry, when you like create a character and it's in sunlight, a lot of the times it's gonna look bad and uncanny. But if you hide that CGI character in shadow, then it's a lot better. A good example is Gollum and stuff like that. Davy Jones and shit like that. I say like a lot, but yeah. So the xenomorphs look good. Honestly, like the face huggers were the main villain in this. Like there were a lot of face huggers, and some of them were animatronic. Obviously, when they're all running down the hall, like up the walls, that's CGI and stuff. But like it still looked good. Everything looks good in the movie. Sounds good in the movie. Story's good. So story's solid. It's not anything groundbreaking like Alien and Aliens, but it's decent. It's a decent plot. Rain is a decent main lead. I wouldn't mind seeing those characters again in a future movie. But yeah, just the member berries throughout this. Like, remember this? Remember that? Remember this? Like, oh god, it was just so. And the Ian Holmes thing is just infuriating on like a moral standpoint to me. But if I have to remove myself and say, all right, let's just pretend like they didn't dig up Ian Holmes's corpse and it was a completely different actor, I would be okay with it. The only other complaint I would have really is the xenomorph hanging from the earth from the very first Ridley Scott Alien movie. But yeah, I guess those are my kind of opinions on Romulus. There was a lot more I complained about, but I saw this movie like a week ago, so I don't remember all of it. It's pretty good. It's just good, you know? So, failure, oh god, mid, good, great, and then masterpiece. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. I think we're gonna end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will have a stream up next week, whether Peter's around or not. We're gonna try to have a stream once a week at the very least, even if one of us can't make it. I thought this was a good time. I had fun, at least. I love to gush about aliens because none of my friends really give a shit about it as much as I do. But yeah, this was fun. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the live stream, and we'll have another one next week. We have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be great. And I might turn this into its own video. I'll look back at the footage, see if there's any real funny stuff. If not, then it'll just be a VOD on the channel. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. See you.